What I learned from Carey was that her history of trafficking started at a very young age. She was a teenager when she was kind of pulled into the world on 14th Street, where trans women were engaging in prostitution. A few months before she called me, New York State had repealed the loitering for prostitution statute. And as part of that repeal, the legislature ordered the sealing of all loitering convictions. As I was talking to Carey, I realized that yes, it seemed as though she fit that legal definition of trafficking, which meant that under New York's vacatur statute, she was eligible to have her prostitution-related convictions vacated.
Yeah, back then, I went through a lot, in prison. I was in solitary confinement in my last 6 years of prison for 2 years. So I had a lot of mental issues from being locked in a cell every day for 2 years straight. And the officers abusing me, and that's another thing. Lee and them knows. I told them all about that. I felt that comfortable to tell them that. To let them know it hasn't always been easy, but Lee and them, they never judge me. Laura, they never judge me, They made me feel good about myself.
When Carey first called me, she was hoping to get her record sealed because she was looking for employment. And I knew that the vacatur process was going to take a long time. It always does. So I connected her to Legal Aid's Worker Justice Project.
It's so important for employers to hear about Carey's story, right? Because if an employer just sees Carey's background check, especially her background check before her convictions were vacated, it doesn't look good to employers. It looks scary. But Carey has an incredibly moving story.
So the most important thing that we help them put together, of course, is the personal statement / accomplishment packet. And with that, they're basically letting an employer know that I am not my previous criminal conviction history.
For her to be able to tell that story to employers, either through an interview or on paper, that makes all the difference for her.
I also referred her to our team's immigration attorney, so I could actually better understand what her status was and to see if there was a way that we could normalize her status in some way.
When I met Carey, I got an immigration history from her. She came to the US when she was only 7 years old on a green card, and she had lived her whole life with permanent resident status. But she lost her permanent residence after she was convicted of a felony. Once her convictions were vacated, I was able to file for a T visa, which is something that, as a victim of trafficking, she qualifies for the special visa, which eventually, once it's approved, allows her to also apply for a green card.